You've been dreaming about your wedding since you were a little girl. The dress, the venue, Prince Charming. Everything is planned for a seaside ceremony with 100 of your most favorite people in the whole world in Croatia. Until global pandemic strikes. Yeah, fucking fabulous. Now you've got to cancel your dream date with your dream man with all your friends and family 3 months out from the wedding. Oh yeah. But you know, sometimes love prevails. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how I planned a sustainable wedding in 3 weeks. Hey, it's Steph Dixon, and on this channel, we unpack tools and curiosities for neurotic overthinkers who just wanna live happier, more conscious lives, you know, to better themselves and the planet. If you're anything like me, you're just trying to figure out this human experience so that you can live wide awake. So yeah, 2020 was a real kick in the dick. And I know it was a really tough year for almost everyone, but a special shout out for those brides and grooms who had to cancel their wedding. I feel you. I'm gonna share a little bit about our backstory, how we planned our experience to be as sustainable as possible, the dress, the decor, the food, and some of the finer details. But first, a little bit of backstory. When COVID first hit at the beginning of 2020, I was in total denial that I would have to cancel my wedding. As time crept by, reality started to kick in, but it wasn't until my hen's party, which of course was canceled too, that it really hit home. So I allowed myself a pity party. I literally lay on the couch and I cried for over an hour, which I don't think I've ever actually done before. And then I picked myself up and accepted this new reality. Although, you know, all that planning going to waste was a bit of a tough pill to swallow. Yeah, wedding planning, not so easy. 3 weeks out from our wedding, the sadness hit again, and I realized how sad it was that after 7 years together, a really long engagement, that Jan and I weren't gonna be getting married anymore. So the spontaneous side of me said, you know what, fuck it, let's do something anyway. This has been a shitty year, I want some joy, and I really wanna marry this incredible human. So I said to Jan, hey, you wanna get hitched in 3 weeks? I know, so lame. But he said, yes, let's do it. And we decided to call it our love signing. So let's dive into the experience of the love signing. Obviously, one of the more sustainable ways to get married would to be just to go to the local court, or in Singapore, the registry of marriage, and just sign the papers. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Lots of people do it. I just found it was a little bit too sterile because you literally got like a paper number, and then you would have to sit down and wait, and then your number would get called like a queue, and you would go and then sign the papers and do the ceremony and exit into this little garden. It's cute. It just wasn't for me. At the time, we were able to have 10 people legally in our apartment for a little solemnization, and so that is what we did. We wanted to do things a little bit differently than we'd originally planned for our actual wedding. So we decided not to exchange rings or vows and to save that for when we have our bigger love celebration with all of our friends and family, whenever that ends up happening, at whatever point in our lives. But we still wanted this smaller celebration of our love to be special, and so we incorporated a few magical elements. A dear friend offered to run a cacao ceremony for us with live music, which was incredibly beautiful and intimate. A cacao ceremony, for those of you that may not know, is one of the oldest holistic healing practices used by indigenous cultures around the world. It's used for healing, to rebalance the body, and is a real heart opener. It's like a really strong cup of cocoa that literally warms your heart and connects you deeper to yourself and those that you're with. We sat in a circle on the floor and everyone set a little intention for the love signing and for Jan and my love. And then we drank the cacao and sat in a circle and sung, and it was just so healing and beautiful. We also had our family on Zoom so that they could watch everything and still be part of this magical day. Then the solemnizer arrived and she did the legal part of the ceremony. We both told each other how much we loved each other, and then we kissed and were pronounced husband and wife. Afterwards, we sung a really beautiful song that I had selected back in our circle. And you know, there's really just something so magical about sitting and singing with people. I'll put a link to the playlist below. Now for the dress. My actual wedding dress is laying peacefully in an anti-discoloring bag in Sydney. It was actually a pre-loved wedding dress from stillwhite.com, which is the largest site for pre-owned and sample wedding dresses. It was actually a really smooth process to research, to actually go and try on the dress, and I actually managed to get my dream dress for a third of the price in near perfect condition. What a win, right? So as we were literally planning the solemnization in 3 weeks, I didn't want to overcomplicate the dress situation, but I also wanted to wear something different than I would wear when we do our bigger ceremony. So the first stop was a rental store called Rentadella. They have beautiful designer dresses for any occasion to rent. Ming, the owner, was absolutely fantastic. She was suggesting all the different looks. I tried on over 20 dresses. She was super patient, and we actually made a really fun girls' day of it. And I did actually select a dress that I was gonna wear. But then I started being targeted for dresses on Instagram. And so I decided with the hippie chic vibe we were going for, I wanted to wear something a little bit more flowy. Luckily, my dear friend Ray Paddett, who is the founder of the clothes swapping store at the Fashion Pulpit, is also very good on the sewing machine. So he whipped me up a skirt with some fabric that I bought. And while I only got the skirt 2 hours before the love signing, I was able to pair it with a top I had in my wardrobe. I had some borrowed earrings from a friend, and voila, I was ready. Jan had a linen shirt custom made for $150. Linen is actually one of the most sustainable fabrics because the flax plant requires very little water and energy to produce, meaning it has a much lower carbon footprint, unlike the very thirsty cotton crop. In Singapore, where we had our ceremony, we actually had to wear masks by law. One of our friends got us custom masks made by sustainable bridal designer Elizabeth Grace Couture. Having natural makeup was really important to me, so I did a little bit of research and I found a lovely makeup artist who uses vegan and natural products and is also a big advocate of body positivity. And I went to a hair salon that uses natural botanical products. For the nails, I went to a socially conscious nail salon that only uses non-toxic, eco-friendly and/or cruelty-free polishes. The team are all marginalized women who have been upskilled with vocational training to be the nail technicians. The decor. Even though we were getting married in our apartment, we wanted it to be special and different. We cleared out all the furniture, bought a bunch of fabric, we hung it from the walls so that we could create a little love sanctuary. We used the cushions from our couch and borrowed a couple of extra from our friends so that we could create a whole circle for everyone that was going to be there. While it took a little bit of planning and a few hours to hang everything up, it was actually very easy and affordable. Having said that, if I'd found out about these styling for occasion companies beforehand, I probably just would have used one of them. While we did use single-use Velcro sticky tabs to actually hang the fabric to the wall, I actually managed to repurpose them to put them under our dining room chairs to stop the scratching and squeaking on the floor. And the fabric already had a second life at my girlfriend's dad's 70th. Refuse, reuse, repurpose. Because our actual wedding was the week before of this love signing that we did, a lot of our friends and families around the world had actually sent us amazing bouquets of beautiful flowers, so we were very lucky. We could use them as decoration. But if you're finding your own flowers, maybe try to find a florist that uses more regional flowers or that uses less packaging, or you can even get flowers nowadays that they actually fully dry them out and they can last from anywhere between 1 to 2 years. Number 4, the food. I'd managed to convince Jan originally to have a vegetarian wedding. Firstly, because it lowers our carbon footprint of the wedding, but also because I wanted to show all our family and friends how amazing vegetarian food can be. Of course, our love signing was no different. I asked around and got the contact details of a private chef who came to our house, cooked an exceptional 4-course vegetarian meal, and even did all the dishes and cleaned up. All for less than we would have spent if we'd actually gone out. The chef was wonderful, the food was fantastic, and it was actually a really cool and novel experience having a chef come to the house and prepare a meal for us. I'm a huge tequila fan, and so my girlfriends got us flights of tequila to enjoy after the meal from a lovely tequila company who makes chemical-free tequila. I was so focused on organizing the solemnization that I completely forgot what comes after. Normally, before we go on vacation, I do my research and try to find a hotel that's more sustainable and make sure that there are no single-use plastic surprises. But this time, I totally forgot, and because it was our mini moon, they decorated the room with balloons and there were single-use plastic bottles everywhere. But you know what? They looked after us so beautifully that I'm not complaining, but just a little note for when you're planning yours, something to think about. In the end, it was a really magic and hilarious day that were filled with very weird moments, which, to be honest, was very appropriate for the weirdness of 2020. But it still managed to fill our hearts completely full of joy. 5. The finer details. Before I forget, we actually wanted to do our solemnization on the day that we were supposed to get married, but we literally missed it by 1 day. In Singapore, you have to apply 21 days before you do the legal ceremony, so that's something to keep in mind and to actually check before you get too excited about your date. There's a few options for you when doing the legal ceremony. You can do it at the Registry of Marriages or your local court, depending where you are, or you can pick a venue or do it at your home like we did. There are some paperwork and things that you need to do, and you actually need to take the documents to the Registry of Marriages, but all of that information is in the link below. In Singapore, we organized our own solemnizer, and while they donate their time, it is customary to give them a little bit of an angbao between $80 to $150. Another little thing to think about is maybe having a nice pen and a cute table for you to actually sign the legal documents. So that's how we planned our sustainable wedding in 3 weeks in a global pandemic in Singapore. You're welcome. If you enjoyed this video, maybe check out this one where I sent almost nothing to landfill when I moved home. My goal on this channel is to unpack how our actions affect our mental well-being, our happiness, and the planet so that we can live more consciously. If that sounds interesting to you, considering subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up so we can continue doing this work. I hope that this video sparked something deep within you, ready to awaken, and until next time, live wide awake.